Wait.
If we just made it weird the whole time. How many people do we have in here treating it like a live thing? Like reading comments we don't see. Hey, yeah, thank you. No, it's pretty nice.
Julia, thank you for the 14 months. Robin, appreciate the donation, buddy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for coming on in here today. Everyone's like, what is this? What platform is this? Do you know what?
No, I don't want to know.
Guess what episode we're on? To any of those keeping track, we're on episode 10. Episode 10, you know, it feels kind of special, right? People like numbers that are like that.
And in honor of hitting double digits, we're dressed nicely and we're going to speak very intentionally.
Episode 9 was a little bit of a, what was, in a word, Andrew, if you were to describe episode 9, what do you think that word
First
would be?
First of all, episode 9 wasn't a little bit of anything, but okay, go ahead. That was
sort of just a descent, really. Not into something that we liked, I feel, but it was a little bit wild. And there were so many loose ends, and I saw many things in the comments that were like, finish this, finish this, finish this. And to those, I want to say, no.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think. Loose ends. Loose ends. Sounds like, what is it?
Oh, it sounds like when I moved out of San Francisco.
Explain.
Let's just say I had a lot of exes.
Oh, right. Of course.
Yes.
I was thinking of like physically loose ends, but of course that guy would somehow make it about his weird brigade of people who he's had weird encounters with.
He's got quite a past. He's been alive for a very long time. This weird budding character that has developed on this.
Budding? No, he's fully
developed. Yeah. He just always finds these opportunities. Fully developed. Sounds like that Tom Brady. Also, why did that come from my mouth, Tom Brady? Welcome to our sports podcast. What?
Well, this is kind of funny. The Super Bowl was Sunday, and somebody won.
Wait,
Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Kansas
Pioneers.
City Chiefs. Oh, what's that?
The Kansas City Pioneers. God.
Do you know what sport it is?
Yes. There's football. I didn't play sports. Surprise! You play baseball. You seem like a baseball player. Oh, in your little baseball costume.
I played basketball, baseball, and then I started playing golf in high school. So I kind of played sports.
I played rugby a little bit.
It's so wild to hear.
But
rugby. It's not a big American sport. How did that even happen? Anyway,
I don't know. It was fun.
I don't know if this episode is going to get
everyone.
I don't know how much time we want to spend on rugby.
Why did we just do that?
I believe, shout out to the people in the UK listening to this podcast. I believe there are some.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I saw that. Oh, if you're listening in London, oh my gosh, you're having fun. That's so cool. Is it raining? Ooh, they're raining in London.
Oh man, that would be nice. A nice little foggy London day. London Fog brand now available at Kohl's. It's true.
Okay, but they have nothing to do with this episode. But you know who does have something to do with this episode? We do want to thank our actual sponsors of this episode. 3 companies, Andrew. HBO Max, Raycon, and honey. Did you get honey? You were saying last time you didn't get honey. Did you finally get some?
Are you talking about the chicken fingers I just ate?
No. Oh, we had wonderful chicken fingers. But no, did you get honey for your apartment?
I did.
Yes.
I'm very confused. I thought you meant actually download honey. And now you're talking about buying honey for my apartment from the grocery store. And then I originally thought you meant me getting honey with my chicken fingers because I wanted honey mustard, but they didn't have honey mustard. They had something called spicy honey.
Andrew,
and let me tell you ran out swing and a miss there, buddy.
I didn't think
that
so.
That was not what I was wanting when I said honey mustard. They said, well, we have spicy honey.
I put it all over my breakfast burrito. I won a pumpkin pie eating contest one time at my school. I have a picture of me, reigning champion, doing this, like I winning the pumpkin pie episode. Also, don't mind me just casually holding my wand. Not me holding my wand.
All your teachers in school. Oh, there he is, that Garrett Watts, causing all the trouble playing rugby and eating pumpkin pie. That pumpkin pie rugby playing wand carrying SOB running around here.
I think I played rugby like 4 times in school, and they were like, ew, get off our team. No, no one kicked me off my team. Although, I did get kicked out of a musical once. I got kicked out of a musical because it was My Fair Lady. You want to know why? Because the drama teacher who sucked, Mr.
Oh my God, don't do it.
I want to so badly. He was actually the worst. Like not how people go like we've said this before, but sometimes you know how you look back on things that your teachers do in school and you're like, that was weird. Like that was not a normal thing to do.
Yeah.
This is one of those people that I've thought about many times in my adult years, and I was like, oh yeah, you were like objectively a problem. I won't say his name, but yeah, he kicked me out of My Fair Lady. Now he had every right to do so. He said that my heart wasn't in the role because I never showed up to the rehearsals. But I knew it well enough.
Oh my gosh. Very responsible thing for a teacher to do. Yes. Super on par with like the handbook.
Yes, but you have to trust me that in every other respect, he stinks.
I think what's happening right now is you're letting your sort of weird egomaniacal perspective of the situation completely overshadow the responsibility of a perfectly competent.
All right, you're making me go here. You're making me go
teacher.
Here. This teacher, which I will not say his name, called my dad once. And he was like, hey, how's it going, Mr. Watts? You know, and my dad was like, fine. How's it going with you? He's like, oh, I'm Garrett's drama teacher. And, you know, he brought up some sort of like nonsensical thing of like, I don't know. I don't even know if it was a disciplinary thing or just some sort of, you know, it's nice to have him in class. He's a little crazy. And I talked to him about it. And then he brought up to him, he said, are you aware that your son is probably, you know, a little, probably, and I was out to my dad as a gay man.
Oh.
And he was like, yes. And he was like, well, you know, he's a little...
What?
And my dad was like, what is happening right now?
What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm very confused.
And he was like, are you referring to the fact that my son is gay? And he was like, well, I wasn't going to say it. And he was like, what is happening right now?
Geez.
And it was like a whole thing to where you like put him in his place and stuff. And it was like,
whoa.
Yeah, it was really, really strange. And then apparently...
That's kind of like terrible.
But yeah, I think he got fired.
I'm like, what was his angle? That he was like just shaming you? I don't understand.
That's a really good question.
He was calling your dad to like create a weird household tension, hoping that your dad had like a problem with you. I don't understand.
I really don't know.
He's just being a weirdo.
He was, and he had, and I really won't go
Maybe
here.
he thought it was tea. Sorry.
I'm ill.
Calling your dad. I got some tea for you.
He calls my dad and goes, hey, Mr. Watts, how's it going? This is your son's drama teacher. Do you hear kettle whistling? And my dad goes, kettle whistling? And he goes, well, I guess you could say I've got some piping hot tea. And my dad goes, spill, sis. And he just talks shit about me for like an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't know what his angle was, but I will say without going there that he had a very problematic past that like got uncovered and stuff, and I don't think he works there anymore. But it didn't affect me. You know what? You gotta, like, the most basic advice ever, you gotta brush the haters off, okay? Because most of the time they're just jealous.
Can we just completely remarket the podcast as just being this empty vessel of nothing? Just like, I mean, it of course already is that, but and this podcast, even more so than it already is.
Yeah, this podcast is like when you go to break open an egg and you're going to make breakfast, right? But nothing comes out. Nothing comes out of the egg. You crack it open.
This is the worst analogy ever because no one's ever experienced that ever.
But what if what if it did?
I don't know where we were. Wait, where were we?
We were welcoming people to episode 10. And we were saying, thank you for being here. This is so exciting. We're so, I think, weirdly surprised and delighted that we've had people with us along for the ride this long. I'm wearing this vest. Andrew's wearing his hands. Oh, it's not a vest, right? You told me it's a coat.
That is what I would describe as a sport coat or a blazer.
Which is too small for me because look at the arms.
I've had many a jacket, which I adored, but unfortunately realized whilst driving my car that there's that weird little thing happening underneath your armpits where you kind of get all like, you get like all stiff.
Oh, no.
And then guess what? Jacket gets returned to the retailer.
Yeah.
Because I can't do anything with this.
I was supposed to return this, but I did it too late.
Give this to Gumby.
No.
the only creature that can somehow fit in that weird tailored thing.
I feel like people don't talk about Gumby enough. If you don't know who Gumby is, Google it. It's actually, you're going to find a really fun result. Andrew, did you ever have a contentious relationship with a high school teacher?
No.
You were a good boy.
I love throwing this out there and never returning back to it. No, I stopped going to traditional high school halfway through my sophomore year and ended up doing high school online. So I didn't run into many teachers.
That is true. Didn't you make the conscious decision to stop going to school? Like not dropping out, but you stopped going to traditional school and then went to online classes?
Yeah, I was doing a bunch of stuff. I actually had like an internship downtown in Chicago when I was 17 and stuff. I just was doing other things. It's weird. It's really hard to explain. It's like part of my life that I don't even think about ever.
Andrew has this mysterious background that like, no, he does have this mysterious background to me. He like lived in Poland. Like, what are the other things? You've lived in like 365 cities.
It's so funny. We don't as humans
weird.
think about our past enough. I'm serious. I'm actually like weirdly being kind of serious because how are we talking about?
I blocked that, dude. Not block it out. That's the wrong thing because block
it out sounds like me with my curtains.
Block it out sounds like me with the tax collectors. He's like a huge problem. He's like
facing like 12 years in jail.
The IRS is like after him. Yeah. Sounds like me with all Jeremy's lawyers.
It's like, what's going on with you, Jeremy?
So
you get divorce, you get legal separation.
Not that? It just makes sounds, yeah.
Because if it's not that, that's really crazy and like kind of weird. We got to end this. Not only end the bit, but end the podcast. End the channel.
Episode 10, we had a good run. Or did we? Sometimes people in the comments were like, stop apologizing. Oh, speaking of comments, there were so many things that people asked for. They were like, you didn't finish this story. You didn't finish this story. I feel a little bad about that.
Well,
in the last podcast, I talked about being a wedding DJ. And like, it was so funny because it looked like this really random just moment of me bringing up that I was a wedding DJ. But I was like linking it to this idea that I thought was going to contribute to this really great podcast conversation. And then Andrew, and look at his wonderful.
I'm sorry, didn't mean to do it. I just realized that I drank all my coffee without showing off my cup.
Andrew,
I did red marker on blue tape today, just because in celebration of the 10 episode.
Andrew has to the audio listeners. Andrew has the most beautiful coffee cup. Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say that the last podcast episode we went off the rails, and I was like gonna do this point about like going to my interview for like being a wedding DJ. I'll catch you up to speed for those who didn't watch.
You're interviewing to be a wedding DJ.
Yeah, I showed up to this interview that I had absolutely no right to be at. Yeah. At the time I wanted to be a wedding DJ. I don't know why I had it in my mind that I so badly wanted to be a wedding DJ. I just got obsessed with it.
Where, if I might ask you, when you did the interview, okay, how did you even get there? Was it a ad somewhere? Did somebody hook you up with the interview?
Guy who's got to be way too official. Yeah, listen. So the day was April 7th, okay? Weather was a cool 77 degrees.
This is quite the form you've taken on.
Yes.
It's like very intimidating.
I woke up, had myself a couple of eggs, a little bit of sausage.
When was this?
It's April 7th.
Of what year?
2000.
You remember something as specific as that 20 years ago?
I was a little boy. No, I'm sorry. Well, let me tell you what happened. I got very obsessed with becoming a wedding DJ because I'm good. I like talking to people, right? So I started a window washing company because I was raised like Mormon, right? And so like that religion is very like people know each other really. They're really like close.
Fun fact alarm. Sorry,
I think I was stricken with silence because I was so curious to know what the fun fact alarm would sound like. Can you please hypothesize as to what it sounds like? I know people already heard it, but
okay.
Yeah.
So you know that little triangular instrument that you may or may not have played when you were in 5th grade music class?
Is that what
it's gonna be that mixed with like a correct answer on a game show. Also, I wanted to update everybody on there's just a couple updates for the episode.
Oh, sure. But now I can't lose track of where I was going with that. That would be grossly irresponsible.
No, I just forgot to update people at the beginning of the episode. I wanted to do like, at the top of like the school when they announce the announcements over the loudspeaker.
I just remembered that. Yeah. Oh, people aren't even in school right now in a lot of places. Andrew, imagine you're sitting in your classroom and you hear this. The alarm goes. It's like 9 to 10 a.m. or something, and the alarm goes. What do school alarms go like? Boom, boom, boom.
The Law and Order soundtrack and like the Netflix sound together are what the school alarm sounds.
I don't remember, Andrew.
The point is, yes, today for February 10th, we have only one announcement, and that is that we have slightly modified the H2O alarm to be a little less aggressive and a little bit more whimsical. So from now on, when you hear this sound, remember to hydrate up and have a great day. There he goes. Also, the caffeine alarm is still the same, and as I finish the last of my coffee, it will play.
What is there? Oh my goodness, look at this. I look a little bit different here. And Andrew, you do too.
Fun fact, in sponsorship mode, the temperature goes down a little bit and the humidity goes up a bit.
And for the audio listeners, just so you know, you can't see us, but we trust us, we look different in the video version. We're in sponsorship mode. Oh, geez. Don't tell me you don't know what HBO Max is. Are you kidding me right now?
I do know what it is. I have it, and you know that.
Yeah, I do. But for those who don't know what it is,
okay.
HBO is a streaming platform that bundles all of HBO together.
I know.
With some of your favorite movies, iconic shows like Friends and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, plus new Max originals.
They have Friends on HBO Max, and I'm actually serious.
Yeah, they do.
Friends is my go-to show.
I once watched Friends after I broke up with someone, and it made me really sad, and I was sort of crying on a bed and eating barbecue, and the barbecue was falling all over the bed, and it was like doing really, really severe damage to the materials. I didn't care, but because I was having such a blast watching Friends. So I'm really glad that it's on HBO Max.
Yeah, you can relive those glory days. They have all of my faves.
And Andrew, there's just no losing with HBO Max. Because you know what? You can stream it from all of your devices. Any device you could think of, you could put
Any
HBO Max.
device?
Andrew, are you looking at all their bingeable collections, hand-picked by humans, not robots? Or perhaps you're looking at their incredible Valentine's Day selections?
Yes.
You know, it's funny because, Andrew, later in this episode, we're going to be talking a lot about why we're single. And it is the case that we are indeed both single right now. But HBO Max will be there to help us because they have a ton of Valentine's Day rom-com movies about love. And one of your favorite movies ever made is about love. And it's on HBO Max. And Andrew, tell us what it's called.
You know that I am a big Blue Valentine stand.
Oh, Blue Valentine.
Ryan Gosling. And no, I'm not just saying it because it's a convenient thing to say. I love that movie, and you know what? I made you watch it that one time, and then you're like, oh, I get it. I love this movie.
I actually thanked you afterwards. I was like, dude, I'm so glad you're in my life. I can't imagine my life without Blue Valentine. Blue Valentine, they got it all. Andrew, don't make rude sounds. Andrew, what'll HBO Max say? You want to hear something wonderful, Andrew?
Yeah.
Right now, both new and returning subscribers can sign up for a limited time prepay and save offer to save 20% when prepaying the first 6 months of an HBO Max subscription. Offer ends March 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. Still, it's incredible.
Okay, and how would I go about getting that?
Well, you could check out the link in the description of this episode and get 20% off the first prepaid 6 months of your HBO Max subscription.
You gotta find something. HBO Max, we make up the slogan. HBO Max, you're gonna find something.
HBO Max, trust us, it's there.
HBO Max, there's like a lot of stuff.
HBO Max, there's so much stuff on there, you're gonna get like kind of scared. Thank you so much. Back to the podcast.
Back to the podcast.
Back to the podcast.
It is literally 12:45 in the morning right now.
I'm so glad you guys know those announcements moving forward.
Sweet Boys Late Night.
Oh, yes.
You thought they were sweet. Wait until after dark.
Whoa.
I hated it.
What happens?
I don't know, but we've never recorded a podcast this late.
Really?
No way, dude.
Interesting.
The latest we've recorded a podcast. Fun fact alarm. I'm gonna be using. I also want to create an alarm for point is.
What do you mean?
Because
point is,
it's a signal to the audience that if you've completely, just spaced out based on how just weirdly scrambled up our jargoning was, that at that moment you can actually tune back in and you can kind of get the point of what we were saying. Because I say, and you say a lot as well, point is, and then we basically say what we just should have said in the beginning.
Interesting. So now would be a great time to go, point is, I was 19 years old and I had started a window washing business in order to afford DJ equipment. So I was doing this window washing business. And by the way, that was me. I made business cards. I got all this window washing equipment. It was great. I got really good at washing windows. Knock on the door. Someone would answer the door. And I would literally just be like, hey, your windows look a little dirty. Like, can I wash them?
So
I just wanted to make money, like on my own terms. Anyways, I did that for maybe like 2 weeks or whatever. And then I learned that there was a wedding company. Like I looked straight up just on Craigslist, right? Which I don't encourage anymore. There's so, not to shade Craigslist, but there's so many like better services, I think, than like Craigslist out there for like community building. I say that because I think Craigslist can be really sketchy.
Well, yeah, isn't that kind of like just the whole thing,
the
right?
CEO of Craigslist listening to this, like, okay, wow. I see how it is.
Okay.
No, but yeah, I went on Craigslist and saw there was like, show up at this place because there's like a wedding company. And I looked up the wedding company and I was like, oh, they're really legit. So anyways, I found let me get to the point of this though. I show up at this interview and there were all these really well-qualified people in there. Very cool people that were like, they were working club DJs and stuff that were like in their 30s.
More qualified than you.
Way more qualified.
More experienced than you.
More experienced than me. Better looking.
They talk the talk.
They talk the talk.
They walk the walk.
They walk the walk.
They knew the industry.
They spin the records better than I ever could think to. Anyways, so they all like got up there. It was like kind of a, every interview setting is like strange. They like went up there and they were, the guy who owned the company, who again, super amazing company. I was like, what am I doing here? They only DJ'd weddings and worked with weddings that were like, $50,000 plus. So they did like huge weddings. And so I went in there and everyone was killing it. Everyone was doing so well. And then I went up there and I just said, I straight up was like, hey, this is really cool. I'm really glad that I could be here. I thought I could like start a wedding. Like I want to be a wedding DJ. I don't know what that means.
Is it a group interview?
Yeah, it was like when they say like go in front of the class and present your project. Okay. It was straight up like 15 people in the room. He just said go and talk, like just tell us why you want to be a DJ, which is like whatever. So I just said, hey guys, like you're all so much better than I am. Yeah. I just want to be a wedding DJ. I think it'd be cool. I think I talked to like the guy who owned the business for 2 seconds. Had myself a free bag of Sun Chips, which cheddar are the best kind. Ooh. Don't you dare!
I'm not. I don't agree with that personally, but I would never care to talk about why I feel that way.
I understand.
I don't
get defensive over much, but oh my god, if I had a bag right now, I'd be munching. Anyways, the point is though, he ended up hiring me, point is alarm. Yeah, they ended up calling about 6 days later, and at this point I was very broke. Like definitely could have used something like this. I was looking for jobs everywhere. And he was like, hey, can you start training on this day, whatever, right? I was very delighted. When I went there to his really cool house in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is very like, ooh. Oh. And we started training. I said like after the first session or whatever, because you had to like really train for this. I was like, dude, why did you pick me? Okay. I was like, that's crazy. Because there were like 3 people that I named by name. I was like, this person's so much better, like whatever. And he was like, I picked you because you know nothing. He was like, I picked you because you know absolutely nothing about this business. And all those people probably have their particular ways. They know their clubs. They know how they spin. They know what they do, blah, 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 blah. They're all like, hustlers and entrepreneurs.
In their ways.
In their ways, yeah.
And
he basically told me, which I appreciated the honesty. He was like, I kind of wanted like a blank slate. He was like, I could tell you really wanted to do this and that you just needed to be trained.
You should.
What?
I'm going to live this out in my head just because I think it's very funny, but I'll just also say it. You show up at the guy's house and you're like, he's got like 3 assistants. And you're like, this is kind of random. Yeah. And they're like, Mr. Scottman will, I don't know, give me a name.
Scottman is wonderful, Andrew.
Mr. Newman will see you in his private office in the back. And then you show up and you're like, hello, and then like you turn a corner and it's him sitting at his desk, and he's facing like the other way, so you can't really see him.
It's very dark.
And he's like, take a seat, Garrett, and you're like, what the heck? Yeah, like why did you hire me? And his voice is different.
Everyone right now just on the edge of their seats.
Oh no, yeah.
Wait, do his voice. So he's kind of quiet, and I go, I'm thinking in my head right now, I gotta say something. This is like a weird situation. Yeah. And I go, Mr. Scottman.
Garrett, you know how long I've been in this business?
I don't, sorry.
48 years. I'm only 51. And then you ask your question.
Mr. Scottman, why did you pick little old me?
And he turns around. You know I like you, Garrett.
Oh, why?
What do I look like right now? What is happening? I can't wait to wake up tomorrow and be like, call you, and you're like, hello, and I'm like, dude, like, what was like, I was pretending to be your boss, like this weird sketch for like 1 a.m. What the? Anyway, point is,
I was, and I am still. I'm still obsessed with this, by the way.
He turns around and goes, you know I like you, Garrett.
Why is that, Mr. Scottman?
Garrett, all those guys that came in here, you know what they all did?
What's that?
Let me tell you what they all did. Okay. Right. Gold watch, way too big for his wrist. 14 rings on. How do you have that many fingers?
His hand is so heavy. There's 3 cats on his shoulders. It's like, what?
All the other ones, you know what they did?
No, what'd they do?
They try to impress me.
Oh.
You're not set in your ways. All those guys, they try to impress me, make it seem like they're going to help me. You know what they're going to do? They're going to help themselves. Now you're a blank canvas, okay? You're new. You're fresh meat. Oh. And you know what I can do with you?
Oh, can you put your hands down, Mr. Scottman?
I can mold you. I could get in there.
Oh, Mr. Scottman, I'm so sorry. I just don't know if it's going to work out. Sorry, I'm trying to find the out to this particular.
I'm just trying to get one more little zinger in there. I don't know what the angle is.
Listen, if Andrew and I have been blessed by some really, really, really cool fan art, like which is awesome because there's some really talented artists out there that are listening. I just really can't wait to see Mr. Scottman fan art.
Oh my God.
I want to see that so bad. People just drawing this like jams all over his hands. You want to see me play darts? I ain't seen someone play darts as good as I can.
Throws it.
It hits one of his assistants in the arm.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, here, I'll do it. Okay.
Here, I'll let you actually hand them to me. Why don't you go ahead and
sure,
that one right there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to hit that. Wow, you're like 40 feet away. You going to get that?
Damn. What I tell you?
Ooh.
What I tell you about standing right there?
She was standing.
You know that I got a bad shoulder sometimes, and I get nervous in front of company when I'm trying to throw me some darts. I do a little bit of that over the shoulder thing, and you know it goes left. You know it goes left in the hallway. Why are you standing in the hallway?
Mr. Scottman.
Get out of the hallway.
You really, really missed.
You know, that's the 4th time this week that I hit her in that arm with that dart. I got to let it go. This is a moment in life where it's like, you know what? You got to let it go.
Frozen.
This is for nobody. Everything we've been saying.
Oh, I didn't like the sequel. I didn't like Frozen 2. I hate to say it. I hate to spill the piping hot tea all over the Frozen 2 stands. I have so many. I have so many thoughts. I thought the first one was wonderful. It's no Tangled. My point is that the podcast itself to me feels like that 19-year-old me that walked into that office. No, I do.
You know, we're kind of DJing for our listeners and our subscribers.
Okay.
Kind of true. What is disc jockey?
I mean, yeah. So
there's no discs anymore, is there?
No.
So okay.
I love a disc. Anyways, I feel like this podcast, I do kind of like that story because it's like, yeah, sometimes you don't have to know what you're doing, right? Because it's funny because when I told people, my friends, my family, I was like, oh, I'm starting a podcast with my friend Andrew, right? And they're like, oh, cool, I love podcasts. What are your favorites? And it was like, chirp, chirp. Yeah. I was like, yeah, I don't listen to any podcasts really. But, you know, I also didn't watch any YouTube before I started doing like YouTube at all. So I think it's kind of fun. Whoa.
What the heck was that? Was that your neck cracking?
Yeah. Did you
that
hear
was
it?
Nuts. Yeah.
Ugh.
That sounded like artificial. That was crazy. Sorry. Go ahead.
I get super nervous because you just like busted me that I'm like some sort of robot. This is the worst thing I've ever said. Artificial. Yeah, no thanks. I'm carbon based. So.
What the hell
I'm a human,
are you talking about?
I'm a human just like you. I bleed. Okay. I have no idea what this is going to be called. I don't know. How's everyone doing out there? Weird. Weird concert banter. Everyone good?
As if it just started.
I don't know.
It's like a concert.
Anyways, guys, episode 10.
Anyway.
We're gonna
talk about dating.
Oh, yeah. Andrew and I were going to talk about, we could still call the episode, we were going to call it Why We're Single. That's what we were going to do. We were going to try to set out to talk about dating in this episode. You want to talk about dating? We can still do this.
The whole point of the podcast is to bring an audience of sweet friends along the ride with us as we sort of go inward and look within ourselves. Redundant. as we journey inward towards understanding ourselves through lengthy conversations.
Well, it is really interesting because I know you were sort of halfway joking, but like 61% not, because I really do like what you said because, yeah, we want to start this podcast just to be able to have a place to talk to our wonderful friends listening, which is great. A place where people can come and talk about life because sometimes it's anxiety provoking, and sometimes it's confusing, and sometimes it's fun, and sometimes it's silly.
Yeah, let's lock this one down. Let's really just track the dating thing.
Okay.
Just get in, just really have a nice, concise conversation.
Oh, do you remember when teachers would be like, shake the sillies out?
No,
I hated that.
Never.
I sometimes
actually I don't know.
When I was in like kindergarten and stuff, and I always hated the way they worded it. They would be like, hey, like, all right, everyone, we're about to like start class. Like, stand up and like shake the sillies out.
Oh, that actually kind of sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar.
It probably happened many times, and I'm just.
And then I say something like really weird, and then yeah, of course, like that sounds familiar. And then the grade school stand-ups, you know, where they'd make you all stand up against the wall, and then they'd wash you with the fire hose. What? No one remembers this? Because we were all stinky?
What?
No, I was never washed with a fire hose. I apologize for that. What I'm saying is that, no.
That's like a TikTok of somebody being like, show me some... show me like what's someone that you went to high school with doing these days that like makes you like kind of cringed out.
Oh no!
Just somebody that you went to school go like showing a clip.
Oh God. You know what?
You go. I never was watching the firehouse. I'm sorry. What was that?
Andrew, you're on this ship with me, brother. All right? We're going down together if we're going down. Andrew, you have tears in your eyes.
Maybe this is like a real cry. Cry for help, perhaps. Oh, jeez.
You all right? I knew it. My hand looks a little different. We're back in sponsorship mode, aren't we?
Your hand looks a little different.
I don't know. I just
call somebody?
No, it was weird. I don't know why I did it.
Cool. Why? How is it different?
Well, I just wanted to say to the audio listeners, we're back in sponsorship
I know,
mode.
but now I'm curious.
I don't know, Andrew. I know my own hand very well.
I think my hands have looked the same since 4th grade.
Do you know your own hands well?
I have very thin, small wrists.
For a larger man, Andrew, I actually have pretty small wrists too. All right, well, we renamed the podcast Small Wrist Boys. Andrew, listen. We can't just go on about our kind of weirdly small wrists because millions of people out there have got a bit of a problem. Okay? We're always staring at screens. There's screens everywhere in our life. Phone screens, TV screens. We're always looking at screens now more than ever.
Yeah.
But want to know a great way to give your eyes a rest and still consume great or even intellectual content?
Yes. Give it. Give it.
Whoa.
Sorry.
You can still get that by putting in Raycon wireless earbuds and listening to something great. Whether you're catching up on your favorite podcast, listening to an audiobook, working out with a workout playlist, a pair of Raycons in your ears can make all the difference.
I'll be boxing soon. Watch me.
Andrew, that's great. You're going to use them while you're going to be boxing. I'm trying to go on more walks. So I figure I put in my Raycons, I go on a nice walk, I throw them in my little workout bag, which I just got.
Be gentle when you throw them in your workout bag.
I will be gentle, although they're probably very durable.
I know, but still.
Andrew, with Raycons, there's no dangling wires to get in your way while you're boxing or while I'm walking.
Oh my gosh. It'd be like spaghetti everywhere.
Spaghetti everywhere. You're all tangled up in them. You're having to probably call for some help. You're never going to have that happen with Raycons. Raycons come in a range of stylish colors. They got a discreet and comfortable in-ear fit, water and sweat resistant, and Bluetooth, which can pair with dang near anything.
Bluetooth, huh?
Oh, here we go.
Might want to go to the dentist. Might want to call the dentist.
You might want to give the dentist a call if you got a Bluetooth.
The most like dad joke ever.
Andrew, the best part, Raycon makes great sound accessible to everyone with wireless earbuds starting at half the price of other premium audio brands. Whoa, are you okay?
I'm gonna sell some premium audio headphones. Yeah. Just give me all of your land.
Oh yeah.
Just give me your car. That'll work.
How much are these premium audio headphones, sir?
$1 billion.
Oh, $1 billion? I will go with Raycons, thank you. You want to hear something wonderful, Andrew? We're giving our listeners 15% off all of their products. And careful, because you're drinking, and if it's too much of a surprise, you're going to spray that coffee everywhere. Whoa.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah. 15% off all their products. So if you want to check them out yourself, go to buyraycon.com/sweetboys. That's it. You'll get 15% off your entire Raycon order at buyraycon.com/sweetboys.
15.
Say, Andrew, you want to hop on back to the podcast?
It's not Easter, brother.
Okay. All right. Back to the podcast.
I have a funny relationship with those TikTok things where it's like the stitch things.
Yeah. The stitches are very,
it's just,
very
there's
funny.
something about a hard cut to something.
Yeah.
That you're like not expecting. What's your 1 in a million moment? Like a weird, hard, jarring cut to somebody like be like, okay, back 14 years ago. And like this really definitive thing. Like, what the hell?
I'm trying to think of like,
why are half of them like somebody who's like in the middle of like their shift at work? It's like in a loud restaurant and someone's like turning around. They have like 3 seconds to like get on their phone. What's something that you saw on the internet that like you'll never forget?
What's the most secondhand embarrassment you ever felt in your life? I guess I don't know that many stitches. I've actually not been watching TikTok that much lately.
Don't know that many stitches. Can't relate. I used to skateboard down in Venice, and let's just say they
Just
called
give him a minute.
They call me Slippery Steven because I was always falling down.
They called me Slippery Steven for a different reason, back when I lived in Ohio. Let's just say
state Ohio.
Yeah.
That means nothing.
I know. I gave it a shot.
This guy was covering so much ground that like he references the damage that he did.
I took a train there. Okay. Who cares? And I took a Greyhound back to San Francisco when they booted me out. You got kicked out of Ohio? Long story. Longer than Kristen.
I saw, even though everybody's probably doing remote work, just like a boredom of somebody in the HBO, like in their like giant meeting room, turning off the TV and being like, "This is the best that we can do."
Yeah.
This is what we got.
Yeah. That's an incredible visual that's very accurate.
God, picks up bone spider.
It's like, need a second?
Yeah.
It's like, need a second. Hang on. Dating, huh? Dating in L.A. Hey, so I go out with this one girl, right? She wants to go to a pizza place.
Yeah, I like pizza.
I say, okay, let's go to this pizza place, right? And this little joint right on Laurel Canyon, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And she goes, no, I want to go to this other place called Michelli's. I say, Michelli's?
Yeah,
What's the big deal, right? Going there, I don't know anyone, right?
Yeah.
And, I look at the menu, $45 a pizza. I say, hey, what are you putting on this pizza? Hey, I didn't know Tesla's was an ingredient.
First of all.
Hey, that's crazy. I didn't know I didn't know Rolex watches were a pizza ingredient. Hey.
First of all, 100%. You should have said topping.
Oh, you're right.
Ingredient. It's like, yeah.
I gave it a shot. I gave it a shot.
$15,000 watch.
What's another expensive pizza topping that could be like? so some guys who have some guys who like have a podcast who really need to have their finger on the pulse all the time. So it's like this. They like do that bit for some reason. Then they also go, I didn't know that GameStop stocks were a pizza topping. It's like, shut up.
There is no way that there's like somebody who would ever listen to that bit who's also like thinking about like the short squeeze on like the GameStop stock.
Every time I see that in the news, I'm just like, I can't. My mind can't access that. It's like algebra. I see. Oh God, here.
Sure.
Oh, okay. I don't want to explain, sir. Please, podcast mode.
So basically, here's the story, right? You got a bunch of these hedge fund guys. They've been ganging up on the little guys ever since Wall Street first became a thing back in 1924.
1924.
Okay, so here's what happened,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
You got these hedge funds. They're inflating left and right. Okay, you got the bipartisan people in the middle trying to regulate everything. They said, no, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go ahead and buy all this stock. We're going to sell it to all these different brokerage agencies. And what's going to happen from there is that we're going to have to buy it back if they go low. But they're not going to go low. So chances are we're going to make a bunch of money back. So what these guys did on Reddit, they gang up, right? This is like the modern day revolution, all right? The Wall Street bets guys, they really got their finger on the pulse. Talking about finger on the pulse is what they did. They ganged together. They basically...
Later.
I just threw up in my mouth.
I gotta get some water. I gotta do something. I gotta stand up. I gotta take a...
Anyway, the short squeeze. So basically what they do, they artificially drove the stock price up, forcing the hedge fund people to have to buy back the stocks that they really didn't own. So what happens is somewhere along the way, while the stocks goes up, all these guys who invest this money, right? They call them like, oh, they're living in the basement, not making that much money. Guess what? They're multimillionaires overnight because they tricked the system. But that's just like the way the hedge fund people have been doing it, right? If you want to play the game, hedge fund owners in Wall Street, you got to learn how to play both ways, and you got to learn how to do it in the modern age. Because guess what? The game is changing and the rules are different, and we're here to stay, and we're not gonna play nice.
You really botched it in the end there.
And I said what I said. Weirdest guy ever.
And I said what I said.
Oh
God.
Yeah. I've never seen such a distraught emotion in your face. I was like a little bit worried. I was like, whoa, you okay?
Sometimes I don't know what to do but buckle. Sometimes I don't know what to do but just
sounds like me when I'm trying to fasten my pants to my waist.
There's nothing we can say. There's nothing we can do. We're screwed. We gave it a shot, man. Dude, everyone's gonna be like thinking we're
Oh no.
We didn't sleep actually.
Like a little sleep deprived.
Oh,
which seems to be like a really weird ingredient for this whole long form conversation.
Really weird ingredient. Sounds like when I invite Calvin over to the party.
In the middle of that, it's when the sponsors turn off the TV and look to the person who made the decision to.
And then, so the exec looks over at him and he goes, I didn't know. I'm sorry. Someone said that their podcast was good. It was on trending. And then the CEO goes, just stop. How soon can we fix this? He goes, tomorrow. I'll get Rhett and Link. It's fine. We'll just give it to them. It's going to be fine. Great. Rhett and Link are great. Those guys seem nice. All right. Not us hanging out with Rhett. I think that's
in some weird world, buried like an hour into this ridiculous podcast, we snap our fingers and Rhett and Link actually are here. It's just like, what?
That'd be
for
weird.
Like 3 seconds.
I love things like that. I always wish that celebrities did like cameos like that in movies. That's the dumbest opinion I've ever had that no one cares about. Okay, who cares? Who cares that you've always wished celebrities had cameos like that in movies? I always thought that'd be funny when I was a kid if like it was just like, like someone picks up the phone real quick like on the street and it's like, oh, look, that's Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston, what year am I in? Sorry.
That's like really rude.
No, she's still very successful. Sorry if you're listening, Jennifer Aniston.
Can you imagine Jennifer Aniston like in her mansion, like snuggled up on her like $14,000 like feather pillow top couch, maybe doing a crossword puzzle?
Oh, she would be eating really nice like some brie cheese.
All the Mr. Scottman stuff happening in her living room, just flooding the hallways. Just this sound.
She's playing this on a television, I assume.
Yeah.
And it's just penetrating her furniture, her walls, her nice home.
Yeah.
And then after that, she stops and she does that signature little Jennifer Aniston like, because she does stuff like that. She stops and then, I assume she has like lots of assistants. And so she goes, hey, Clara? And Clara comes over. They have like a great working relationship because she's like a really good person. And then Clara goes, what's up, Jen? Calls her Jen. And she goes, everything has to go. She goes, what? You just designed. She, no. I'm sorry to be brief with you. Everything has to go. It's permeated. The energy, the voices, the everything, the Scottman. I feel Scottman's presence in my couch and my walls.
She's... This sucks. I wore this jacket because I feel like I look like the guy who goes on all the morning talk shows and like the late night shows. The date expert guy.
What is he?
This is exactly what he would wear.
Yeah.
Like soup neck tee and like my blue bomber jacket. And yeah, so like the whole thing with dating in LA, it's a big city, right? You got a lot of successful, ambitious people out there, so you got to stand out. Number one thing I tell all guys, right? I remember the rules.
Oh no!
the three main rules.
These people exist, by the way.
The three main rules for success when it comes to dating in LA. Yeah. Number one, got to be confident. Okay, the guy on Dr. Oz, you got to be confident. Okay,
it's just
women love confidence. Okay. You go to the Olive Garden, right? Okay, see a beautiful woman eating a breadstick over there on the corner of the table. What do? You stare at her the whole time. You're talking to your friends about her, right? That's awful. Huge turnoff. Rule number 2.
Yeah.
Be direct, okay? Women like confidence. It's like mixing up his
fingers are so long for some reason.
Audio listeners like, what are you talking about? Yeah. I was holding up.
Also,
1, 2,
your
3.
advice number 1 and 2 were like the same. You literally said the same thing. Okay, but number 3 is really going to throw you for a zinger. You have to have confident posture. All right, sir. Who booked you to be here? I booked myself. Okay, that's what you got to do. I've got all 3.
Security.
God. He's so good.
And then security comes out trying to get... He's fighting security with his fingers.
So gross.
Like a sword.
Yeah. For those of you who weren't aware, Andrew was just proposing a situation in which the dating advice who broke into the expert broke into the talk show and he got excused because he was giving bad advice and no one booked him. He was fighting off the security with sort of an X-Men-like power because his fingers were growing about 20 feet long. And this all because we were trying to talk about dating.
I think about...
it's hard to talk about dating.
I think about the family gatherings in the future, where like aunts and uncles, especially people in my life who are like 40, 50, 60.
Yeah.
When the podcast gets brought up, just now knowing the sort of objective tone of them talking about it, like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. Yeah,
I think it's great that he's doing it though. Yeah. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, really good.
It's really fun.
It's fun.
And I like that people are like that. That's good. That's good. He has an audience.
That's cool.
For that.
Cool. YouTube. That's great. Yeah, that stuff is so
That's so real.
It's so true.
I just heard 2 ghosts.
Yeah, that was crazy. There was like a creak in the floor as if these floors were put down in like 1800 and something. And there it is. Just not us just continuing on as if nothing happened. God. Oh no.
Andrew, what is that? Well, first of all, let me just say before you go into this relatively confusing and maybe inappropriate bit is that we are back in sponsorship mode. But sorry, is there something on your hands?
Honey.
Honey.
Which reminds me of something. I don't want the honey, the thing that I pulled out of the cabinet in my kitchen to be everywhere, but I tell you where I do want it to be. In my browser, everywhere everywhere I go online shopping, I'd like honey to be everywhere there, but not here. Let's just say I'll be in the shower, showering off all of this.
Andrew, I'm going to beg you to stop. Okay, all right, listen. What Andrew's trying to say right now is we're all shopping online nowadays.
Yes.
Andrew, when you're online shopping, we've all seen that promo code field empty, just taunting us at checkout.
What am I missing out on here?
Yeah, we're all going, what is happening?
What's everybody else typing in here that's going to save them a bunch of money?
Yeah, you're going, I don't have a promo code. Stop playing games with my heart.
FOMO.
What
am I missing out on?
But with deals. Andrew, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. And Honey supports over 30,000 stores online. I'm talking tech, gaming, fashion brands, and even food delivery.
A couple things come to mind.
Okay.
1, too good to be true.
Not too good to be true.
2, liar.
Not a liar, all real. And Andrew, listen, let me tell you how it works. You're shopping on one of your favorite sites, right? And then you go to checkout. The Honey button drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait a few seconds, and Honey searches for the coupons it can find for that site. And if Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop.
Nice try.
No, I'm not lying. It's a real thing, and people can check it out for themselves.
And if that were to be real, the world would flip upside down.
I can prove to you, too, it's real. Do you want to know why that I know that it's real? Because I bought 8 DVDs the other day, and guess what I got? A big deal because of Honey coupons.
Big deal.
Weird. Andrew, Honey has found its over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/sweetboys. That is joinhoney.com/sweetboys.
Give me a reason to not do it.
There's no reason, Andrew.
I know! Why is it even a possibility to not do this?
I was just going to suggest that maybe we get back to the podcast now.
I think we should.
Okay. We really did want to have a more serious conversation about this.
Well, all right. You know what? Dating. This may be a topic that we'll have to shelve.
Well, I'll say this straight up. Dating is something that Andrew and I talk a lot about because I think we're both pretty unconventional when it comes to that. Is that okay to say?
I will say we've kind of cooled off talking about it
Yeah.
over the last, I would honestly say like 4, 5, 6 months.
Well,
honestly.
yeah, dating's not a thing here in Los Angeles right now, so we have not discussed it. But I feel like we definitely could. Because if it's not, we're not, us talking about dating would never be like our experiences, like weird date nights. Well, actually, maybe sometimes it would be. But I think it would be more so us talking about the...
yeah, you're going to call her daddy or run for their money.
I don't know what that means.
Barstool Sports podcast, very popular, talking about dating experiences, different.
Well, I think it's wonderful. I'd love to listen to Call My Daddy podcast.
Call her daddy. Give me the spider.
I got a wand. I got a backup wand.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny that there's a genre of podcasts.
What is our genre?
A genre of podcasts centered around dating.
Is there really?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, that's like a huge thing. Like no shade to those people, but I just genuinely can't wrap my mind around what kind of lives those people have led to where they have that much fuel, that much ammo for content in the dating realm, the experience realm.
Well,
there's people who really like just
experience. I'm chewing if anyone can hear that.
And honestly, this is not even a joke. Garrett's eating the gingerbread head that's been sitting there for over 6-7 weeks. So the creatures and insects that have gotten to that thing, who've done God knows what, maybe planted eggs in there. I don't know how insects work. Probably very plausible.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's so funny. We all know people.
Yeah.
I was just speaking about this the other night to a friend about how there's some people in life who always have to have someone in their life. No shade. Nothing wrong with that. There are some people who are perpetually in a relationship. And I think that's really interesting. I mean, anyone listening to this is like thinking of names in their heads. Like, oh yeah, that's this person. Or maybe that's them. Maybe it's them. They're like, oh yeah, I always want to be in a relationship. I love that. I think there's some people who since junior high school have always been in a relationship, which is so funny to me because I'm kind of perpetually not in a relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like some people just have this odd sort of, not odd, I can't call myself odd. That sounds so self-depreciating. I don't mean self-depreciating. That wasn't a thing, was it?
It was now.
And I kind of wonder what it is in my brain or whatever that makes me very good at being a loner. And I often wonder, I mean, I know society would kind of want me to like, do you want me to work on that? What's expected of me? Am I supposed to be in a relationship? What does that mean? Is that for me? Is that for someone else? Because like something that I hear very often on like social media is like, how are you still single? How are you still single? You know, that kind of thing. And that's very like flattering. I know it's just a sweet thing to say, but I'm like, why is that even? I don't know. I guess if we were to legitimately have this conversation, it's like an 8-episode arc. I feel like it could be like,
and that's why there's so much podcast content out there about this stuff. Yeah, I think. I mean, we would be a little more introspective and kind of psychological on ourselves, I think, because I think we both share that sort of not unusual necessarily, although I guess by definition,
no, it's by definition
kind of unusual.
It is
that unusual perspective of kind of gravitating away from the idea of kind of constantly being on the hunt for somebody to be in a relationship with. Yeah. That is interesting. I don't even know where to start with that either.
Yeah. Where do you even begin? Because it's like, first of all, dating is not really something that, to anyone who's watched Andrew and I before on anything, it's not really something that we've ever had the avenue to speak about.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I mean, even as you were saying that, like 10 things came to my mind. Yeah. Where I was like, ever since I was like in like middle school, I've always been sort of this like, I want to like find the girl of my dreams and only be with her and basically be married to her. Like, I don't know. It's kind of funny. Just people's perspectives of what you need to do and when you need to do it and how you need.
Dude.
What you need to do. Sorry. Phlegm alarm. Oh, God.
What alarm?
Phlegm alarm.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
It's just gargling sounds.
Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah.
Why mate. Phlegm alarm. Why am I single?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I did.
I can't figure out you with the phlegm alarm, me with the old cookie, which is, by the way, somehow burning my mouth. Anyways, I don't get it.
A chemist would walk in, look at the situation, go, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what I was saying was, as I sit here and think about this subject, it's so apparent to me how unsolidified my perspective on something like this is. The thing that I think sums it up the most for me, and it's something that you actually you texted me about this thing where you saw someone said like, oh, what are you looking for in somebody? What are you looking for? What are you trying to find?
Yeah.
And whatever that is, become that person.
Yes.
And what I'll say to that is I think I've always had this mentality of wanting to kind of actually do that, whether I knew it or not. And I know that you can, in fact, grow with somebody and kind of find yourself through a relationship. I guess I've always just had this personal, not belief, just this sort of instinctual feeling of needing to become a little bit more realized personally, like with myself. Yeah. Before I go out and I, find somebody, I put, somebody else's emotions in my hands, or before I know what I'm looking for, it's like I kind of feel like I'm this half-baked version of myself who's like trying to go down these roads that I'm like really confident about. And I'm like, I'm not even confident about who I am, what I like, what I want to do. Like, there's so many things I don't know about myself. How am I supposed to have enough confidence to like bring somebody into that and be like, like be with me. It's like I'm learning how to be with myself in the least like Ben Affleck from that one movie type of way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, you don't.
I actually have no idea.
What I meant is.
Do you mean Good Will Hunting?
No. I think Jennifer Aniston actually is in the movie that I'm thinking about.
I love
and
Jennifer.
Ben Affleck and Jennifer Aniston are the people in the movie, and he doesn't want to commit to her, and she's like, what's going on? And then, like, spoiler alert, he may or may not come around to the idea of proposing her.
Do they end up kissing?
Yes. Wrapping up the point.
Don't wrap up anything. Are you kidding? This is just beginning.
Well, yeah, well, no, I know. But what I was basically getting to was when I say these sort of like, oh, I am kind of weirdly territorial over my own emotions, that is not like, and I don't want to be with anybody, and I don't need anybody. It's like kind of weirdly the opposite. Does that make sense? Can you like validate what I just said to myself?
Let me tell you what, it makes a lot of sense to me, because something that I find to be the most...
I just made the weirdest face that's ever happened. Sorry.
I can't wait to see it, because I wasn't looking at you.
Well, it is 2 a.m. We are drinking a bunch of coffee, and we're talking about a really complicated topic. So what do you expect?
Everything else that you've heard in this podcast. That's one of the most daunting things, is that what you were just touching on is sort of the double-edged sword of like, when do I date? Like, do I date when I am someone who I think is fully realized, when I look how I want to look, when I'm doing what I want to be doing, when I am who I'd want to be dating, or do I become that person with someone? And the tricky thing, because I fall into the category of like, I don't want to be doing that until I'm more realized
Yeah.
And until I am a certain way and doing a certain thing, because I'm like, no, like you were saying, I got too much to figure out before I go, being with someone. But then I think of some really meaningful relationships that are in my life that I've seen, my brother and stuff, and so many different others. And I go, man, they really, really, really grew and developed together. So it's like, because I sometimes think that about myself. I sometimes joke that, how sometimes there's like guys who say like, oh yeah, before my girlfriend, I don't know what. My brother's kind of that guy, although he doesn't sound like that. But he's kind of like, before I met my wife Jess, his
I didn't know
Jess.
what I was doing.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like sleeping on like a bed. I didn't have sheets. I didn't keep up my relationships. I was, these kind of funny. And I always kind of joke like, oh, I'm that without having found that other person. And I don't care if that sounds like sad. I don't care about sounding any certain way. Because I actually don't think it's sad. I think that there's like that's a whole nother episode on people's notion of what that means and what the world's built for and what it's expected of a person.
I know. Yeah.
Staying on track though here with this, that's just something that I think a lot about, because I sometimes think, because I've seen so much of that in my own life, someone becoming who they are with that person.
Exactly,
and they're very lucky to have that person. I think it's really cool that my brother met his wife and so many others. I know that you listening to this right now are thinking of people in your own life that you go, oh yeah, I know this couple that really seem to grow together.
Yeah,
whatever.
Totally.
And I'm sure you have people like this in your life. So it's like, it's one of those things where that's great. So awesome that you guys found that other person that you felt that connection with and chose to evolve together. And that's beautiful. But yeah, with me, I just kind of go, the kind of, I guess, quote unquote, sad part of it, if that word is to be used, is the fact that I think that ideology of being like, I'm not ready to be like the perfect counterpart or to date someone is very limiting, because you're not emotionally being vulnerable enough to give someone else the chance to become that.
Yeah.
So that's what's tricky, is like, I constantly fight sort of that, dare I use the word demon of like, realizing that could very much so be the case, but also that other part of me at the same time that shuts down relationships when I start to get into them.
Right.
Because I go, oh, this person's amazing. This person's really cool. This person's beautiful. They're conventionally attractive. They're all these things. They're great. I'm not ready for them. I can't see them. I don't want to go have coffee with them. I could be cripplingly self-conscious. I could be a lot of things. I'm human. So it's like, that's definitely a real thing. But the funny thing is that when I look at other people that I am very attracted to, the flaws in them, the conventional flaws even, the emotional one, their personalities, there's so many things about people that I find so beautiful. It is a really interesting thing, because I am drawn to the very things that I think are flaws in myself.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you doing? Is that just some weird form of self-destructive behavior to think that you're not ready for that? I don't know. Oh, I have so many freaking thoughts about this.
I've always had this this thought that's kind of in the context of this dilemma that you speak about, which I feel like I also face.
Yeah.
I even brought this up with my therapist, LA.
I think it's wonderful.
Beverly Hills.
Is he in Beverly Hills?
I just having a therapist and also residing in Los Angeles just always makes me want to go. Anyway, what is that phrase of you can't love someone until you love yourself? I feel like that's the most confusing thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't know where that seed got planted at or when or whatever, but it's always kind of given me this very sort of overarching, conflicting ideology about entering into relationships with people, because I have this problem with thinking that I'm reckless all the time. Like, that's kind of like my thing.
Really?
Yeah. Because
it's so funny that I would react like really, because
that's the nature. Yeah. Well, it's more the OCD thing. Like,
I
have this overcranked sense of responsibility towards everything.
I know what you're alluding to.
Oh, you think that you left on the stove. You think that you did that. You think that you didn't do this. And like, it's reckless behavior if you do not take these measurements to prevent this or that, blah, 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 blah. On a continuum of being reckless and being responsible. Like, mine's just skewed to the point where I kind of feel like I'm always not being responsible enough. So in the context of that, you're talking about like entering in a relationship with another human being, and it's like, well, I thought like you can't love someone until you love yourself. Like, what does that mean? Is that gonna like, I'm gonna have this weird relationship with this person where they're like resenting me because like I don't even know who I am, and I'm gonna put them in a weird position, and they're gonna waste their time, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Point is, I suppose I just kind of struggle with what that means. And then when I bring that up specifically, I think even my therapist directly has told me that, like, oh, that's not true. Like the whole you can't love someone until you love yourself. And I'm like, yeah, of course, because there's like people in my life that I love probably at times when I didn't love myself. So it's like, I get it. But in terms of entering into a relationship, knowing like, oh, I can be better than this. I can be more self-respecting. I can be more personally successful with my goals. And you know that. And then you like enter into a relationship with somebody. I guess part of me wonders like, what does that look like? And is that going to be, I guess, quote, healthy? Good, productive? I don't know. I see people who, they kind of go from relationship to relationship, and whether that's a good or a bad thing, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do kind of envy that a little bit because they're so open to the idea of like someone being a part of their life and filling up that kind of emptiness, I guess you could say. So when you're somebody who's kind of protective, no, but this has got to be like this and this has got to be right. I don't know if it's going to feel right. When you're doing that, you're kind of also closing off like all this potential for so much vibrance, right?
Man, I'm thinking of the people out there who are in relationships or not in relationships or what they're thinking. It is kind of interesting. The podcast has opened up the channel in my mind in a healthy way more to the sort of connectivity with people listening. When I'm making my videos, running around my place, doing weird sequences and stuff, I don't really think about how that's hitting someone.
Yeah.
It's like me and my weird zone and thanks for watching, that sort of thing. But it is kind of interesting. I love thinking about that realm of things. Yeah, the infinite ways, the billions of different paths. When I think of like relationships, I definitely don't mess with the idea that it's like everyone has their one. I think everyone has their like 12,000.
Yeah, you said that,
yeah. And I think it's really interesting because it gives me hope, first of all. Because something about myself, which I can say is, maybe people will relate with this because we all think that our own quirks and
are so unique to ourselves.
Unique to ourselves.
Yeah.
And so I say this and I go, hey, maybe thousands and thousands of people will be able to connect with what I'm about to say. But I feel like what I am looking for is very specific, not in physical type or anything. My physical type is all over the place, and I'm actually really glad for that. I can't imagine what it would be like to be like, I only like this specific thing because like I'm all over the place. I'm looking way more for when people ask me about what my type is. I can give them an answer. I can give an answer what my type is. Generally speaking, even physically, I can. Like generally, that's it. I don't know, but I'm so open to so many different things and ideas. But something that I thought has been really interesting in my own life is feeling like access to knowing that I'm capable of loving someone in a traditional relationship context through friends and even crushes.
Yeah.
So like that is really interesting. So because I am looking for such a specific thing when it comes to the emotional calibration of someone and the behaviors and the temperament of someone, I feel like it's so rare. And to add this weird rogue dynamic to it, I am also a gay man. So just objectively speaking, that limits my pool to whatever 4% or something that you want, whatever it is, of eligible men. So it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. But I am so glad for some really, really, really beautiful, lovely people that I've known in my life that give me that access to feeling that love. Does that make sense?
But no, it's kind of funny. I think I don't really talk this specific. Like we don't really talk specifically about our relationship with relationships. But it is kind of funny because as you're explaining what you're explaining, I was like, oh yeah, maybe we do have a lot of common ground when it comes to this stuff. Because it's kind of bizarre, man. I don't know.
Well, can I just say I want to add to this real quick, and please don't forget that. But like I feel like everyone has to understand what I'm talking about. Surely they meet people who are in relationships and they have a crush on someone's boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife or person who's not available that they go, oh, that's really cool. I wish that person was available. I kind of feel like that's my version of that sometimes because I've definitely felt that too. That's really, really tragic for me. I'm sorry to say this, but like when there's a guy who I see like in a relationship who is gay and is what I'm looking for and seems it, and I'm like, oh, so close, Garrett. So close to the fates, you know?
Well, I definitely understand that. Yeah. Also, it's kind of funny too because even while
sorry, I didn't want to.
No. I'm just like it's kind of funny too because like even while unpacking all this stuff and kind of weirdly overcomplicating it just to kind of like process it, I suppose.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny because sometimes my mind just goes, you just haven't like found the right person.
I do. Don't even.
But no, but that's what I'm saying because it really is just like I know this much about myself.
Yeah.
There's no way in the world that like I can write on paper. Sometimes people, well, okay, what are you looking for? Write it down. I'm like, no. I'm like, no. There's nothing there. Like it's there's no amount of like this is another episode for sure. But God. The Bachelor anyway. ABC's The Bachelor I've been watching that show for as long as it's been on. It's just so crazy. I don't know. But the point is, I see something like that, and I go, oh, certain people are just like, they don't overthink things, or they just have a very sort of straightforward, emotional like draw to something. And it's like, this is the way that I feel about dating, and I want this and I want that. And I'm like, when I think about it, I'm like, okay, so like self-realization and like the understanding where like it's just such a
man.
There's no hope.
Yeah.
My point is,
there's no hope for us.
No.
Weird dark point.
I know that my relationship with thinking about dating somebody is very complicated if it's not the right fit, I think. Like I don't know if this makes sense.
But what you just said makes a lot of sense.
No, but I feel like
yeah,
that's why part of me wants to be like, some of this I think might just be BS. Like really, like to myself.
Yeah.
Because like if you ever or date somebody and you're like, oh wait, I don't think I should be dating you because my brain. It's like, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But also maybe it's just one of those things where it's like you need to feel very confident in your relationship with somebody in order to like kind of pursue it. You know, it's not I need a person that's like so great. It's just I need somebody who's really specific, and I can't explain what I need. But like, it's not like
it's not a list. It's not what they look like. It's not what they. Yeah.
Each person is tuned so specifically, and people are so complicated, which is why I just scratch my head when I see people jumping from person to person. It's like, now I'm like spending all my time with this person. Now I spend all my time with this. I'm like, how are you? It's not about their decisions.
Even saying that gives me like this.
And it's not me judging their decisions. It's me being mind boggled about how they feel a genuine sense of attraction towards all these people when I'm like, really? Like you're talking about being super authentic in yourself and letting your guard down and having these like genuine, not in BS conversations over a sustainable period of time and growing and evolving with somebody in a way that you feel confident and like you're benefiting them, and you're just finding all of that in all of these different people.
Yeah, what you're talking about is not some judgment thing. It's like watching a really talented acrobat or something. It's just like, wow, that's interesting.
It's just kind of funny. It's
like, it can feel a
a
bit isolating. It can feel a little bit lonely. And by the way, loneliness, that's a whole I'm so into the topic of loneliness, Andrew. We discuss that all the time. It's an interesting thing.
You start crying, being overwhelmed by life.
I mean, loneliness is one of those words that people hear. They think they just can like prescribe it its meaning, but it's such a complex, nuanced thing. But that's kind of different. What I meant there, you said, oh yeah, I feel like there's some similarities between us in this respect. And even hearing you speak just now is like, man, it's funny. What makes two people? I've seen people in the comments being like, it's so cute. I feel like they're obviously platonic. They're being respectful. Like I feel like they're soulmates. They're really great with each other and that sort of thing. And it's I get that, comics. I think people could be soulmates, but it's just a funny thing. And I'm like, what makes people so deeply connected?
Well, sorry.
Well, no, I was just going to say what you spoke to is just so interesting for me. And maybe you feel the same way if you're listening, of like if it's hard for you to date or you feel like you never catch on to someone, because I am looking for that same thing. And I feel like when I meet that person, it's going to be almost this like hauntingly quick, like want to lock them down. Because I'm like, I get it. Not to get too dark here, because I almost feel like this is verging in that territory, is I've experienced that. A couple times, and when I say a couple, I mean a couple, like two, of feel, and one time really intensely, and it was so interesting. So I was just like, I'm done. When I met this person, I thought I'm done. I'm done dating.
Well, how long? Well, nah.
No, you can ask.
I was gonna say how long ago was that, but I don't want to be putting you in a situation where you're kind of doxing yourself.
No. That was actually take out a cane. I don't know. That was in 2013 was when I met that person, and I dated him for like maybe only like 2 months maybe, and it was short lived. But to this day, which sounds like I don't know, it's just so funny because I sometimes think like if things would have lined up differently, that would have been the guy that I was married to. And I remember thinking about what a relief it was to just be like, I can just focus on life now. I was like, that part's done. Everything that comes with relationships and dating and all that. I can be a better artist. I can be a better creator.
Emotional weight off your shoulders.
It was so nice.
Well,
because I always imagined, my single self always imagined, it would be kind of hard to date, like to be with someone, because I'd always feel distracted and wondering eyes and wonder what else was out there. But when I met this person, I was like, that's not what it feels like at all. Yeah. You feel done. And I'm grateful to have met that person. This person is actually married now.
The weirdest response ever. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, God, he's tapping me. Audio listeners, he's tapping me.
Sorry. Hey, you win some and you lose some. Just like the guy who like thinks that he's helping, but he's really just rubbing salt into a wound that's like healed. Dude, like, I don't know.
Point is, though, Andrew, you were
plenty of fish in the sea. Oh God!
I want to.
Yeah.
Point
There
is,
yeah.
I was very grateful to have met that person. No, I'm not sad when I think about him. In fact, he's still a friend. I'm not sad when I think about him. I'm not whatever. I'm like very, I'm relieved. I'm like, oh, dude, if I can find it once, I can find it again. So I know that I'll find someone like that again who's, you know what, maybe even better. I say his name. Maybe even better than you. I promise I'm not raw about it.
It is just funny. Enough things happen to you in enough ways, and then like your brain kind of just sort of, I don't know, neuroplasticity is a thing, right? Your brain literally changing around and like reimagining and reevaluating the way it looks at stuff. And I just feel like, yeah, man, certain things happen. You fall in love with somebody and then it doesn't work out, and like you come off of that and maybe you put your guard up, or like a couple other things happen. You kind of just feel a little bit, thrown off. I don't know, whatever. Point is, yeah, I've been so disconnected from that optimism of like, I hear people on like The Bachelor, like, oh, I want that, whatever, like that love. I'm like, oh, so you're searching for it and you're fairly optimistic you're going to find it. I don't even think about that sometimes, which I know sounds incredibly unromantic, but whenever I do think about it, I'm like, oh, shoot, like it's kind of crazy that I've kind of suppressed that idea that so many people are like constantly in pursuit of. I don't know.
No, I don't think, I love how you ended that because that's such a human thing. And by the way, I was just thinking about this during that. This form of communication is so funny. It's very like human to kind of dance around words, and like it's almost like you're speaking in another language to kind of be speaking about such intangible emotional things. But yeah, everything that you were just saying, I think that it is a sense of, it's optimistic. I don't think it is this kind of like drab thing or anything like that. I think there's a real supreme sense of optimism. It gives me patience. This idea that this person is out there gives me, it requires faith. You know how there's that biological clock thing when it comes to society and dating?
Yeah.
Of like, you're 30 and you're not with someone. Oh, that must mean da-da-da-da-da-da. I hate that so much because that ends up people, generally speaking, in like marriages that they're going to get divorced from, and it's going to lead to some cataclysmic thing where they're getting divorced and they're raising, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, I'm a child of divorce. I go, just wait, be patient with yourself, have faith that you'll find that, and don't just kind of have that settle energy.
Yeah.
I really don't like that. And I know, not me giving advice, being single for 8 years and dishing out.
I mean, that's, yeah.
But it is funny because I feel like anything that I'm giving quote unquote advice about is something that I'm actually weirdly qualified to, because it's the one thing that's kept me from that sort of commitment to someone, because I only want to do that unless I feel this incredibly strong feeling. And that's why I say I think I'm going to move really quickly on it when I do feel that. So I'm going to be like, you. I don't know if that's, I could be completely wrong about that.
Well, yeah, but you almost wonder, though, like, if that person was single or if that person was available. Because, dude, there's so much, dude, like, it's that is why, that's just an example of why I feel like personal self goes so hand in hand with relational stuff. So many things in terms of like perception and like self sabotage. Like there's so much there. Like then that goes into the psychology of yourself. I appreciate and find fascinating how beautifully yet painfully complicated people are and interpersonal relationships are. There's just so much there, and I think I'm overly aware of that. I don't know. What's also funny and what's making me realize, well, we might as well just end this podcast because there's no way we're going to get anywhere.
We're going to figure it out.
Is the fact that you are so not an overthinker. Yeah. So the fact that we have this common ground about this thing is almost like bizarre.
That is a very different thing between Andrew and I. Andrew is quote unquote an overthinker, as you said, and I'm very not that. But I think this taps into a different spectrum. This is something that does not exist. This is more a spiritual sort of intangible thing that I think can be a lot more connective. It's almost like a different topic. Like this is English and that's math that you're speaking about. Does that make sense? So yes, we are different in that respect, but this stuff, try to tie it up so beautifully. It's just really mysterious. And like music comes in, and isn't that just life, guys?
I mean, there's literally people, myself included, go to therapy every single week for like hours to try to maintain thinking that you have a little bit of awareness about yourself.
That's interesting.
So yeah, I don't know like how my brain works, and I don't know exactly how my emotions are tied to certain things, and I don't know how to like work towards being able to clarify those for myself so that I can, help myself out in finding happiness. It's just like,
oh, well, you should just be like me and never open up that book. Just never go into those confusing pages. Keep it closed. almost. I'm kidding. I actually think that sounds really, really wonderful, and I could probably use something like that.
Still trying to figure out what that Ben Affleck movie was. Oh yeah, my point. Oh, did I ever
Do you
get that
remember the
point?
name of the Ben Affleck movie?
It's like a long title, and there's like everybody who's ever been in a movie is in it. It's like 100 people are in it.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I should know this. Give me one other person who's in it. Not us going from intangible relationship, emotional nuances to figuring out movies.
Listen, we don't know what got cut.
Yeah, we don't know what got cut. And also, I wonder how much of the, what was the name, Andrew? Scott?
As long as all of that made it.
Unfortunately, I'm sure some semblance of that made it into the podcast.
I know.
Wow. Yeah. Holy smokes. Wow. Where, Andrew, were we like under like a weird, what is time right now?
Oftentimes when I go on rants or tangents talking about something that I'm not well seasoned in, you kind of get that sort of faint sort of blackout feeling.
That was interesting.
That's what just happened there.
I mean, that was interesting. I mean, it wasn't interesting.
No. It just goes to shit. I mean, listen, I just try to like,
I know.
Knowing that I just said so many sort of like very confusing things to like potential like girlfriends that I now, in case they find this, have to like wrap it up. But like, it's all really at the end of the day just about like finding the one who's like the most beautiful girl ever, and like she's the one that's gonna illuminate your heart. And then
I kind of thought you were in a bit, but it sounds like into realism.
I do in all reality. For anybody out there who does feel similar, I feel like it's probably like sitting around like maybe 17% of people listening to this. Maybe, I don't know. If I was a betting man, $20 on the 17%. I don't know what's happening. What I was going to say is, if you feel like kind of a lost, hopeless romantic who's not really a romantic because you feel a little disconnected from the optimistic side of pursuing love or something, I do think at the end of the day, anything that is wedged in between this moment and, you finding somebody is sort of objectively a roadmap to finding that person, because all this stuff is like I'm serious. All these barriers, all these obstacles, all these things that you encounter, all the misfires, all the people that you come across that you're like, oh, that wasn't whatever. It all ultimately is kind of, clearing a path towards somebody that like makes sense and who is right for you, putting up air quotes, but like that's ultimately, I think, what we're talking about is the pursuit of that. Because at the end of the day, no matter what we're saying, I think the idea is we find somebody, and like you said, and it's a very true thing, all of that stuff, just like, I mean, I know this sounds so melodramatic and I'm rolling my eyes and cringing as I say it, but all the complexities, all of the other people, all of the prospective candidates and like this and that, it doesn't matter. It's like, no, you found the person, like you got it. And I've always felt that. Whenever I have felt like I'm in love with somebody, using air quotes, it is that simple. It's like black and white. Boom, boom. It either is or isn't. When I like felt like I fell in love with it, I was like in college, and I like felt for the first time like, oh, I'm what?
If I just straight up said her first and last name. Oh, yeah.
Like, having felt that before, I think you kind of know, like, I don't want to settle for anything that isn't that, because it is kind of just like a yes or no thing.
You really put a really gorgeous, eloquent sort of end cap on that conversation for now, because that is such a poignant thought, to think that such a complex, nuanced pursuit can end with such like simplicity. Man, it's so, when you're in the throes of love, as dramatic as that sounds, and you're dealing with those either complex or very simple emotions, it's so funny. And talk about sounding corny. It is so funny how when you're listening to music and you're listening to songs, just songs, so not even saying or this or this, no, songs. You're like, oh, that's why every song is about love, because it's the most real, tangible, interesting feeling in the world. And you're like, it almost seems like it's just interesting.
It's heavy, man. Heavy stuff.
Can you tell me a nice way to end this? Might be just because we're stepping back and realizing there's no way this is like this crazy iceberg of a conversation that, hey, listen, I would love to come back to this because I do think it's a really interesting topic, and maybe you do too, listening. So let us know. But I want to know, Andrew, what's this? To lighten it up and also touch on this
celebrity interview moment that lives.
What is a celebrity quote that lives right in your head? No, I'm really curious. Do you have a song like that that's about love that hits you like a freaking ton of bricks?
I don't know, but I did, just for some reason. Like, it's been a while since I felt it. Like, weirdly, I'm thankful for it, but also not. But anyway, dude, like, just the feeling of like, this is such a bizarre thing, dude. This is like another topic, but
oh god,
the feeling of, quote, getting your heart broken. I don't know. I just thought about that. Jesus, dude. That like, and I just like reliving like a few things over the course of my life. That emotional sting, that is so crazy. I know I just got really dark for that. Just like, no, but you talk about music, and I was just like, I remember music hitting when you're like, oh, I love this person, right? And their music, and then like breaking up with somebody, and like, I know this is the most basic conversation that's ever happened on the internet,
dude. No,
but
it's
just like,
not.
but my point is the idea of music, listening to that when you're like in a really bad headspace because you like broke up with somebody or something happened where like you're having whatever that line or like that sound, like that's a nice feeling.
Ooh,
oh, you're gonna say those words with that run. Oh, that's really good. Oh
yeah, I needed that that sword made of ice plunged into my side, but also it feels good when it melts.
Right, interesting. We're going there.
Oh God!
It's just that I'm going through a little bit of a hard time. Right?
It's just that I didn't need that right now, but okay. I guess here we are.
I remember being around, just being around music and just be like, hey, like, yo, like, I know this is like kind of like whatever, but like, like change this.
I've had, wow.
Whenever you see, but the heartbreak thing is just so interesting because when you're not in it, I'm sure that's like an exercise, just like make yourself feel better. At least you're not like going through a heartbreak. Dude, that is like waking up.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I'm doing this right now. I guess it's just elicited that thought, but just you like waking up and like you get like that 5 seconds of like, oh, cool. Oh, right, that person. Yeah. It's just like,
oh yeah, my little world is over. Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, everything sucks.
Oh yeah, everything's gone. Everything's gone. Okay, interesting.
The underlying point there, dude. Yeah, just how, not in a negative way, but almost in a positive way because of just how like powerful it is. Like, be in love with somebody that like if it goes the wrong way, like just like what that feels like. It's just crazy stuff, man. I'm just sitting here. I'm like as I'm like itching my eye. It looks like I'm crying. I'm just like sitting here like thinking about life, man. It's just like crazy, bro.
Dude, if you're crying, like it's really cool.
No, I like it. No, I like it.
No, like I won't think it's weird or anything.
It's just like crazy, man.
Oh, dude, I like something in my eye.
I think us as a society, we don't like sit around and just like think about how like weird it is.
It's like actually like if you think about it more, it's like actually like kind of creepy and weird. No, it's really,
dude, this girl basically like I like really thought she was like cool and I like talking to her and like I would like FaceTime her and she'd pick up and I would be like, I like this and stuff. And the other day she's like, hey, like I don't think like we should like talk to each other anymore. And like I woke up and like I had like a stinging feeling in my stomach and I was like, this is creepy.
It like freaking like gave me the chills. Like, I was like freaked out by it, and it went on for like a really long time. It's actually been like 7 years, and I still feel the pain every day, like it just happened.
Oh my God!
Sorry,
that was so dark.
No. We have so much optimism. Let me just put it like that. Not that I think everything has to be like tied up beautifully with a bow. I think this is an interesting topic, and someday we'll find our loves. Someday we'll find who we are married to or betrothed.
Dude, you're a good singer. That's people just
my little princess voice?
People just can't do that. You're like going into like stop. A realm of like no, yeah, you're great.
Well, I think my little song was as nice of an ending as we can get. No, honestly, this has been really fun, and it is this has been so fun. I hope you've had fun. It is interesting to have a podcast, and I've never spoken so vulnerably on the internet in any respect ever. What's funny? Me with the wand?
No.
Not me with the wand.
Somebody, like, they're watching the YouTube video and it goes to the end to where, like, black screen and then the recommended videos come up and it's just silence. And just the person after that hour and a half, just literally, they said nothing the whole time. They're just like, weird. They kick X. And if I saw someone doing that, I go, yeah. What do you 100%. Think?
Or like, yeah, their boyfriend or girlfriend walks in and they're just sitting in front of the computer, like the sun's gone down, there's no lights on, and they just go, "Hey, are you okay? Are you gonna come in for dinner?" And they go, "I just need a minute." It's like, I feel like really weird. I feel like sick, and they're not even remembering the relationship stuff. It's just the Mr. Speedman. Was it Scottman? What was his name?
I don't know, and I should not.
Our minds. Sometimes your minds just let you block stuff out.
Yeah.
That's really great. Thank you, minds. Thank you for listening to episode 10. This was an interesting episode 10, and it was interesting for me at least. Andrew, did you have some fun?
Yeah. It's just funny to air stuff out like this, and I'm not talking about like laundry on a clothesline, if you know what I'm saying. We're realizing we're sitting here at 3 a.m, just divulged on like the most uninterpretable, confusing emotions ever for like an hour right after going into a lot of really weird, specific impressions that did nothing for anybody. And it's just a lot. It's just overwhelming. Okay?
Yeah. Talk about two eligible bachelors. Look at us.
Not me wondering why I can't find a girlfriend and then going on the internet for an hour and exposing myself for being so random.
Not me being a weirdo. Not me being random with my friend.
What's up? Anyway, no, we sure do appreciate everybody for hanging out with us.
We really do, and hope it didn't get too, whatever. It got what it got. It got what it got. We said what we said.
And it is what it is.
Thanks for listening. Truly, thank you. You guys make this so fun for us to be able to have a podcast. Is a really fun, cool thing for us just to open up with our fellow randos. Sorry, I hate it.
Restart.
I know, just restart.
No, but anyway, we sure do appreciate it. We hope that we've, shed some light on some things, made you feel less alone, gave you some sort of sense of optimism, cleared some stuff up in life that you probably were like wondering about. But,
giving ourselves so much credit, we really helped, huh? How was that? Was that fun?
Anyway, might as well be a math tutor because we solved your problem.
Oh, God. Do you hear that? Andrew, can you repeat that what you just said, please?
I said we might as well be a math tutor because I'll solve all your problems.
On that note, thank you so much for listening to this. Andrew, take it away.
Leave in the comments any thoughts or ideas or anything random that you want to leave.
Yeah, but like nothing weird, please. Nothing like weird or creepy.
We'll be sure to check that out. But yeah. Until next time, be as sweet as possible. Be as sweet as you could possibly be.
And see you next week.
Bone spiders waving. All right. And it's 3 a.m. And Garrett, okay, he's still eating the gingerbread head. That's a real thing that just happened. Goodbye.